Alright everyone, we start off today talking about the Arizona election audit. It's happening in Maricopa County in Arizona. They've hired a group, the Republicans, they're called the cyberninjas, I guess, that that have some bizarre connections to actually go through the ballots that are there and audit them. And there's a whole, it's become a political mess, because what you have is a situation where a plurality of Republicans, and some independents too, think the election was stolen, and a plurality of Democrats think that's an insurrectionist conspiracy theory, and so what you've got is an MSM throwing everything but the kitchen sink propaganda-wise at this, and it's really funny to see, like, Maddow was freaking out. They're like, oh my god, it's a laughingstock. They've already audited the ballots several times. There's nothing more to do. And by the way, the founder of this group has said he thought the election was thrown and stuff like that. So I'll get a little bit into this and the response and how it's slightly telling and slightly concerning at the same time. First and foremost, though, before I get into the thick of the video, keep in mind there will be a pinned comment below if you're watching this video on YouTube with links to 4 other video hosting sites that I use. That's because I make 4 videos every day and I only put 2 of them on YouTube at this point, because incentivizing YouTube makes no sense when YouTube's algorithms just fuck me in the ass anyway, and they do. And most of you as well. Now look at virtually any independent political or news commentary creator on YouTube and go to their social blade and see what's been happening over the last 90 days roughly. You'd be surprised. Anyway, I think it's rather telling looking at the MSM coverage of it, and it's like, use Google News or Yahoo or anything like that. Just go to the last week or so of news results. Can you find a single instance of an article with regards to this audit, which is legal and above board, that is not propagandistic in nature, that is not one-sided? It is a complete wall of propaganda. And what I think is the case is that because the margin was so thin in Arizona, I think that they are desperately terrified that what will happen is that there are legitimate questions brought up with regards to some of those mail-in ballots, throwing everything back into election time confusion. And what they're worried about is that Trump then, naturally, because he's Donald Trump, would use this to grandstand, say I told you so. He would demand recounts in all the other states, and the Democrats would get dragged back into this morass that really isn't going well for them. There are some Democrats that have questions with regards to the election. Now, of course, I'm not saying that I do. Hong Kong. Biden was totally duly elected with the most votes in American history. But a lot of people don't believe that. And the problem for the Democrats is that it encompasses even some Democrats. The fact is that it seems that at the very least a sizable minority of people within the United States have some questions with regards to it. In Arizona, because this is Maricopa County, Arizona and Florida really are the 2 states that have the most election problems. Fucking time after fucking time. Florida was beyond recount mode in this election, although it's been a squeaker before. That I think is largely due to Bernie Sanders pissing off every Cuban voter in Florida with his Castro comments. Arizona is the up-and-coming. Arizona and Michigan are the 2 states up-and-coming that are the most corrupt. Bar none. I mean, you make California look like it's above board. Therefore, I think that some of these MSM figures are worried about the possible audit results. And so what they're doing is they're trying to call into question the people conducting the audit. And they're trying to say that they're almost insinuating, well, we expect it to look like the result has been flipped because this is all, the methodology's all wrong, and the leader of the cyber ninjas is unabashedly pro-Trump, and these are conspiracy theorists with bizarre methodology. Now, they never quite get into those methodologies. They never quite explain to the readers why cyber ninjas should be considered to be wrong or bad or conspiratorial. It's a lie by omission. They have to leave that out because they don't seem to have any fundamental underlying central premise as to why that would be the case. They're just saying, well, they're calling into doubt the results of the election. We've spent the last 100 days telling you there's no question to be asked. This is all a dead issue. You're beating a dead horse. Therefore, ergo, if it comes out that way, that there was any problem with some of the ballots, whether it flips the state's result or not, by the way, being inconsequential, then don't worry about it too much because it's a nothing burger. That seems to be the groundwork they're laying. You've also got problems. They're calling on the DOJ to oversee the investigation. What a conflict of interest that would be. The problem is this. States, by and large, run the election systems. The Republicans there have demanded an audit. There was a sort of a haphazard initial audit that didn't really mean anything, and of course found no aberrant results. Oh, it was like, we found like 20 fraudulent votes or something meaningless. Now they've got this private group that's been tasked with it, and what they're hoping to do is do a deeper forensic analysis to see if any funny business happened. Of course, again, since this is going to be on YouTube, honk honk, they won't find anything wrong, and of course it would just be the result of the evil cyberninjas, which are obviously in league with Russia, of course, to try to interfere retroactively with the election. Trump is apparently intensely interested in this. Now, what do I expect to happen? I do not expect this to flip the results of the state of Arizona. While the margin was razor thin and is in a number of other states, I personally don't believe that any group capable of remotely screwing around with the voting totals, which is the allegation made by people like Lindell, I can't imagine that group wouldn't have the blessing of inside groups that are capable of covering their tracks. This is actually, by the way, a problem within surveillance, within the criminal justice system and stuff. It's sort of like cops planting crack on someone. Well, the crack's there, you possessed crack, nobody saw you plant it, and therefore the person goes to jail. Who watches the guard dog, essentially, at some point? You've got the CIA and FBI and all these groups. They have all of these cyber toys. This is high-tech shit, and then white hackers that they subcontract with and stuff. They've got the creme de la creme of hacking and everything. The only groups that would be sophisticated enough to potentially catch them with their pants down doing anything would be foreign groups. Well, the problem is those foreign groups would therefore be conducting espionage, and the American public won't believe them even if they say it. It's like when Snowden exposes what the NSA was doing and then flees to a country with a non-extradition treaty, with no extradition treaty. Oh, well, he's just a traitor. The MSM lined up like fucking musketeers to execute the dude's character simply because he had gone to a country that wouldn't extradite him. Well, I had no choice. But of course, that's not what you heard from the MSM at the time. And I'm not alleging that that's what happened here, but if it did, you're not going to find evidence of it. They would have covered their tracks far too well. They would have had the blessing of locals anyway. It's not like the states conduct the election. Wouldn't they have their own teams there trying to sort of make sure things were okay? So yeah, you can say shenanigans all you want, but remember, it's sort of like the O.J. Simpson trial, right? You knew that O.J. was guilty. I know it, you know it, O.J. knows it, but you can't find him guilty because the fucking evidence was botched. They screwed, the LAPD screwed everything up, or whatever fucking cops were involved. The FBI gets involved. They screwed things up. They left evidence out in the sun, fucking unprotected. They're cross-contaminating everything. Everything about it was sloppy and botched from start to finish. Well, under our current understanding of criminal justice, if the glove don't fit, I hate to tell you, you must acquit. That's just the way that it sort of is. Well, again, if you don't get any evidence, or only circumstantial evidence, it'll get shut down. Now, the DOJ might very well get involved. By the way, they're now pushing it back. They were initially saying, well, by the middle of May, we'll have these results in. Now they're saying, well, we're not exactly sure. They gave some of the machines, I guess, back to the officials there in Maricopa County. They've done, copying data or doing whatever they do. But no, I don't expect it. I mean, people that are saying it's happening, it's going to be groundbreaking and earth-shattering, the facade is coming down this time. We've been told that time and time again. This sounds mysteriously like a QAnon thing. You gotta understand the nature of the beast you're dealing with, and the idea that beast can legalize its own crimes, cover its tracks using its own bureaus that can destroy your life very easily without you doing jack shit. Look at what they're doing to Rudy Giuliani right now. They wouldn't be acting in such a brazen manner if they genuinely thought that they would get caught with their pants down. That's about all. Peace out.